Welcome to Beyond the Ark. That's Kevin Fabela, and I'm KC.
There you go. Perfect. Hey, all right, KC. So first of all, thank you for joining me on the show. I've been wanting to get you on for quite a while, and time differences kind of makes it harder. And both of us have a full-time job, so that makes it harder as well with families and everything. So, anyways, let's talk some basketball. I think the first thing that I wanted to bring up was James Harden. So let's talk about James Harden. You're actually in the city of Houston. Is that correct? So you're actually right there in the middle of it, hearing, I'm sure, the daily freeway talks on the radio and whatnot of what's going on. Houston actually doesn't look that bad as it's currently constructed. What do you think about, first of all, before getting to trade talks about Harden, what do you think about the Houston Rockets right now?
I think the Houston Rockets are a very good team. They're transitioning, new coach and all that stuff. But James Harden is kind of like a media circus. He didn't play last night, of course. Eric Gordon came in and dropped 21. They won. So I'm not going to say that they absolutely need James Harden to win here. He's a good flourish piece, but you got to remember, this dude disappears in the playoffs. He's kind of like Paul George. He's like really good, and then he disappears in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what can you do? I think Houston's got a really good, solid chance if they can put a good trade package together for him.
So, what are you looking for in return for James Harden? I mean, everywhere I'm hearing is the Houston Rockets. They want a huge haul, and they're willing to make things uncomfortable until that happens. But really, with the way James Harden's been acting, it makes it really hard for those teams to be like, yeah, that's the guy we want to put us over the hump. I mean, in the beginning, it was the Nets. The Nets were, I thought was a pretty good package. I would have took the package that the Nets had. It would have been LeVert, Dinwiddie, and that was before he got hurt. Unfortunately, he's done for the season, so now you can't really even make that deal. And then it was Allen, their center. Yeah. And then it would probably be like 2 or 3 first-round picks, maybe a couple extra players in that package. But now that deal doesn't look nearly as good because if you don't get Dinwiddie, I think that was one of the main pieces in that package.
Let's see. The thing that they're going to have to do whenever they trade Harden is they're going to have to give another piece with him. He's a great player, but again, he's not that great defensively. He's great offensively, but again, he disappears. So you would need to have and I know this is going to sound crazy, but like a PJ Tucker in a deal with that. James Harden's going to make like $38 million this year. So salary caps and all that stuff.
Oh, go ahead. Think more than that?
I think it's like 38.7. He's like on a scale salary. It goes up.
Right.
But he's getting good money.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's getting really good money. But the thing is, teams aren't going to want to just take one player who may or may not show up when they're going to give up 4 or 5 players in draft picks. So they're going to have somebody like a workhorse, like I said, PJ Tucker, or what's homeboy's name on the bench that they. Well, anyway, there's a couple of players on the team that are going to have to go with him in order to make it make sense for somebody else.
Yeah, James Harden makes $41 million this year, 44 the next, and then 47 the year after that. But that's a player option.
So it was 38 last year. I knew he was on a scale.
Yeah, he's on a scale going up, and then he turned down the 2-year extension for $50 million a year.
And that's because they got rid of his coach. They got rid of the coach. They got rid of D'Antoni, and that's who he wanted. So now he doesn't want to be there. You got a coach you can sell.
That much to it? Just hand me the bag. Hand me the bag, KC, and I'll take the $50 million. I'll do whatever the hell you want.
But see, money ain't everything. Money's not everything. And you've seen this. Money is not everything to these players. Once you're rich, you're fucking rich, Excuse my language.
Anthony Davis, he took a pay cut to come to the Lakers. And then Kawhi Leonard, he could have took a supermax with Spurs. He decided he didn't want to. He goes to the Raptors. They were able to give him the biggest contract. He's like, nah, I'm out of here. I'm gone to LA. And he took the shortest deal he could. Actually, I think he did a 2-and-1 contract, which expires after this year. So
you look at that and you say, so instead of $250 million, I'm only going to make $198 million. It's $198 million, man. I mean, bro, you're not going to spend all that in your lifetime. How many grocery stores and Wendy's can you buy? You know?
Right.
So
So here's a trade package that I was thinking of. A 3-team trade with Denver, Boston, and Houston. This trade, I think, actually helps out all teams very well. And it gets Houston what they want. Because from what I've heard, Houston wants some young talent. That's what they want. They want to have some young, promising talent. So the only thing that throws it in a wrench is I have Jaylen Brown from Boston in this trade, and over the last couple days or couple games, he has been blowing up, and that's mostly due with Kemba not really playing. But anyways, it would be the Boston Celtics get James Harden. They also get Will Barton from Denver, and they get Kevin Martin Jr. Or Kenyon Martin Jr.
Kenyon Martin, yeah.
Denver would get Kemba Walker and PJ Tucker. And then Houston would get Jaylen Brown, Gary Harris, Langford from Boston, and they would get Michael Porter Jr. And
never
worked. Get some picks.
Never worked.
Never worked for which team? Which team says no?
Denver says no.
Denver says no. Why?
Yeah, they have an all-world point guard, and unless he's switching, is he shooting? And Jamal Murray.
No, Jamal Murray's a point guard. No, he's one of the best, and he's better than Kemba.
He's better than Kemba. Kemba's not going to want to come off the bench anywhere.
You put him at the 2.
Who?
No, you put Kemba at the 2.
You don't.
You run point guards.
No.
Oh,
Kemba's a point guard. Kemba's a point guard.
He's both point guards. Kemba Walker is one of the best point guards that doesn't need the ball in his hands at all times. He can catch and shoot like no one's business.
But he's not a two guard.
He's one of the way too many in the league right now, catch and shoot.
Here's why
underrated.
Here's why Charlotte didn't win a title or get to the playoffs with him, because he can't do it. He's not explosive.
He's not a number 1 on a championship team or barely a playoff team.
And that's right.
Your third option.
But here's the thing: as a point guard, he's phenomenal. But if you try to put him at 2, he's not explosive, big, or fast enough to play defense on any of these shooting guards.
Then you have him you say you don't have him as a bench. You just play him at 2 different times. One comes off, one comes on. You're good. The thing about the NBA is it's
Jamal Murray don't sit out, bro. You seen it?
Who?
Jamal Murray does not sit. So that for Boston, and plus they're building around Michael Porter Jr. They're not getting rid of him. He's a big who can shoot.
Right now his stock is high. So if you're going to make a trade to try to make something big, you're basically taking a gamble if you don't trade him, because he's either. What do you think's the limit for Michael Porter Jr.? Because I don't think it's super, super high.
I do. He's got time to develop. Now remember, he came off of a really bad back injury.
2 back injuries.
So I mean, he gets his core strength together and everything. I'd say he's got a good 8 to 10 years before he starts dropping down to 8.8 points a game or something and 7 rebounds or something like that.
If I'm Denver, I'm trying to make a move for now. I'm not saying, if you're saying Kemba's not the piece that gets them to now, that I understand.
He's not.
But I'm moving Michael Porter Jr. while his stock is high.
And he's going to where? To Houston?
In this one, it would be to Houston. Michael Porter Jr. to Houston. Because if you're Houston, do you say yes? Let's just go with that. If you're Houston, do you say yes?
With Houston, you do anything that's going to make you better. And you don't need, because James is averaging 37 points a game. You need 3 people who average 12 points a game to equal it out, right? So considering the fact that, you take, as Houston, you take a trade with anybody that clears a whole lot of salary cap space and who can get you averaged out to better points or slightly less points and averaged out to the same rebounds or more, which, with the Michael Porter thing, anybody's going to want him, but you're going to need another piece. So it'll have to even out.
So you're saying you get Jaylen Brown, who's an
Mhm.
emerging player. You have Michael Porter Jr., who's an emerging player, and then you have Gary Harris, which is a solid 2, not a great 2, but a solid 2. And then you can get a backup point guard in Langford. And
So you send another prima donna point guard to Boston, or prima donna shooting guard when you have Jason Tatum over there doing it without the no. That's a media circus waiting to happen. Not gonna happen.
Well, maybe I'm trying to sabotage them because I'm a Lakers fan. So.
We're Lakers fans, bro, but you already know Harden. Him in Boston, it just don't fit. He's from LA.
Yeah, but where is he gonna go? I mean, Boston is on his list of teams that he's willing to go to, but where is he gonna go? You go Miami. Miami doesn't want to part with it. Philadelphia's not gonna part with either of the 2 players that they're gonna part with. They're not parting with Embiid, and they're not parting with Simmons.
They're gonna have to part with Ben Simmons because Ben Simmons ain't it. He's gonna leave. Ben Simmons is gonna leave.
I would part with Embiid before I part with Ben Simmons.
Okay, Ben Simmons ain't. Joel Embiid over his career has hit more 3-pointers than Ben Simmons.
True story.
Ben Simmons, like they had a big uproar because he hit a 3-pointer the other night, bro. No.
Joel Embiid probably hit more threes this season, which is 5-6 games, than Ben Simmons probably has in his whole career.
Ben has hit 2 3-pointers in his career. This is your guard forward Magic Johnson. No.
Magic Johnson didn't shoot threes either.
But he did. But he had some, and he had some clutch ones. So this is what we're saying. I think Harden does well going to Philadelphia, and they do put a good package together for him. With Tobias Harris still there, and a couple of draft picks, maybe Ben Simmons, and then you're good. And JJ Barea, he's still in Philadelphia, right?
I thought he's in Dallas.
He's in Dallas. I thought no. Mark Cuban bought him out and did some stuff. Did
he?
I'll look that up. I'll look it up later. I'm sorry for fact purposes.
So Dallas's team. JJ. Oh, snap. Yeah, you're right. He is not on the team.
Yeah, Mark Cuban bought his contract out and gave him like $10 million or something. All types of crazy stuff.
He went to Philadelphia?
I'm pretty sure he did. I don't have my computer in front of me, so don't quote me, but I swear that's what I saw.
I do not see him on the Philadelphia 76ers. What team he's on, I have no idea.
Maybe it's Miami. I don't know. Bottom line is, James Harden, if he goes to Philadelphia all of a sudden becomes a real big favorite. He's better than Jimmy Butler, that's for sure. And Jimmy got them pretty far. But I think James Harden would be the one to get them over. Shit, James Harden in Miami would have fucking gotten them at least 3 games in the finals.
Imagine the talent of James Harden with the mind of Jimmy Butler.
With the heart of Jimmy Butler.
Or just the heart of Jimmy Butler. I mean, that would be a player. Unfortunately, I just don't think Harden, he does not put 100% in it.
He doesn't. That's the best part.
Heart in it.
That's how good he is. He's like,
that's not a player I want.
Exactly.
If they said you can get James Harden onto the Lakers, I wouldn't even take it. I wouldn't even take it because he would screw up everything that we got. If I was Miami, I don't want him.
You know what? I think James could do well with the Tyler Hero and with the.
No, but you're gonna have to trade Tyler Hero. You're gonna have to trade half of the team. Adebayo would have to be traded. It's not worth it.
So yeah, I'll give you that.
I mean, if you were just to get them, sure. Yeah, if you want to release him from his contract, he comes over to my team. Sure, no problem. Then I would take him. But I'm not going to give up half my team to get him.
And that's why Houston's in the flux that they're in right now.
Yep.
What was homeboy's name? Andrew Bynum. Phenomenal, all-world player. Didn't want to be a basketball player, but that's the gifts that he was given. Just didn't want to play basketball. So James Harden's getting to that point where he's rich enough. I seen this fool throw through a couple weeks ago. He had a what was it? He had that Rolls Royce truck. I I mean, huge, rolling through, and he had like three snow bunnies with him. And I was like, this dude don't want to play in the NBA. He's living the best life. He already got everything he needs. So the only thing that can entice him is a championship opportunity now. That's the only way you're going to get him to want to play. In Houston, he's not going to win one. He has a better chance on the East.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has a better chance in the East right now. The East is wide open. There's not one team that has a handle on the Eastern Conference like the Lakers do on the Western Conference. And even on the Western Conference, it's still up there. I mean, the Lakers can be beat. It's not like the Lakers aren't the Golden State of a couple of years ago, where they were just by far the best team and good luck trying and stuff. But the Lakers, I think they're by far the favorite. And I'm a Lakers fan, so I'm sure I'm biased, but I think they're the
favorite. In the West, I'm gonna tell you something. Phoenix. I like Phoenix. Phoenix got a chip on their shoulder, and I think that's your number 2 team in the West right now.
It's funny because I've seen people talk about Phoenix. I've been seeing it all over, like Bleacher Report, all like, oh, Phoenix is for real, and I'm like, well, I know my channel is not that popular, but man, I called it in my video earlier when I was like, Phoenix will make the playoffs. Like, I had Phoenix as like a 4 or 5 seed. I mean, I don't know about a 3 seed. We're going to see over time that's not going to work out to be a 3 seed, but you never know, because Denver right now is in a hard spot, being one of the last teams in the league. So, I mean, I'm surprised about that. I guess this will go into the second part of our conversation. Let's just talk about